Hi, I'm Nate Chung. I'm a music major at San Diego State University, and I am playing in Table Music by Thierry Domé. So table music is not your ordinary piece. It doesn't require any conventional instruments. It actually requires pieces of wood as our instrument. And what we do is we strike the table or the piece of wood in different ways. Where sometimes we'll hit it with our palm, other times we'll flick it, and other times we'll kind of roll our fingers to produce different sounds for it. One of the hard things about this piece was the notation. Just getting used to the different signs, the different note heads that tells you what to play and how to play on the table. We're so used to reading just normal black heads or just circles for like half notes and whole notes that we had signs like a star meant one thing, upside down triangle meant another thing, and so just getting used to reading that was definitely a difficulty. Rhythmically, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. We just have to just get used to playing with each other, playing with the other parts. So the first couple weeks of playing this piece, it was actually just us getting together and just making sure that we're playing the same thing, that we're all agreeing on what we're doing and just agreeing on the notation and how we're going to do the notation, and just really just chunking it section by section. And then the past couple of weeks, we've actually just been running it from top to bottom. If there's like a small mix-up, then we would go back, fix it, and then redo it again. And also, we've just been working on just playing together, playing with the other two players. It's been kind of difficult because sometimes we're with one other person, sometimes we're completely by ourselves and doing like a solo section. And so just getting comfortable with the other people's parts is what we're working on right now. So before, we actually just been practicing on IKEA tables, but we are actually able to borrow specially made tables for the piece by Jason Ginter. He played it with a couple of his students, and he allowed us to borrow it for free, and so we are very grateful for him allowing us to borrow those tables.
Hi, I'm Andrew Presa.
And I'm Danny Chawadin.
And today we're going to talk about specific key issues that we as percussionists have to focus on. It's probably the most important part of being a percussionist, or what others perceive as the most important part of us, is having a really strong sense of pulse. We have to be able to play in time, whether it's marching band, concert band, or orchestra. By virtue of being in the back of the ensemble, we're the backbone, we're the heartbeat, we're what everyone else hears. We are behind everyone. We're sending all of our sound through them to the audience, and if we're not providing them a solid structure, foundation of pulse, we are dooming the entire ensemble.
I think it's a crucial thing. I'm pretty sure all the percussionists agree that subdividing is the biggest thing that you need to do. We're doing a piece called Solidarity Dancer, and I'm playing bongos on it, and I'm playing 16ths. The way I subdivide is just keeping constant eighth notes so that I know that I'm still in time with everybody else in the section and the conductor.
And it's not that other instrumentalists don't think about these things, but because we don't have to think about things like, am I playing in tune as I'm playing? Which finger do I press down to make that pitch? And so you kind of have the luxury of then thinking, okay, well, I can put much more of my focus on the subdivision. But one thing we can really do quickly to adjust our sound, and something that we have to constantly think about, whether it's snare drum, timpani, xylophone, suspended cymbal, is this the right mallet that I'm using? Is it adding to the texture and the color of what the orchestra or the wind symphony or the percussion ensemble is playing? And so maybe there's a better way of saying it, but until I find that right word, I see the mallet choice as how we play in tune. And what I mean by that is, if I use the right mallet on a glockenspiel, I can blend perfectly with the high winds. So if I decide to use the Tom Freer aluminum mallet during this really delicate passage, it's going to sound jarring and just completely inappropriate, and just not fit the texture, versus if I were to go with a softer plastic or poly that is soft enough where if I take the right stroke, I can hear that timbre of the glockenspiel mix so well with the high winds.
Another thing that I think is important is breathing. I know that as a percussionist, we use our hands and not really our lungs. Our lungs, really. Yeah, we're not really using our lungs at all, but honestly, to play together, to sound, I guess, pretty good. But mainly to play together, you have to breathe as well with the ensemble.
If every other instrumentalist in the ensemble you're playing in is breathing, how can you expect to possibly enter with them if you don't take a breath before your stroke? Playing percussion is a physical and full-bodied experience because it truly is. And when I breathe, it relaxes my body and it actually releases tension from my shoulders. My blood is flowing throughout my body. My breath is at a comfortable rate. I'm in a relaxed state, and then I can execute those harder passages that I need to execute.
So this is some of the things that we think about as percussionists that are crucial to our performance and during our rehearsal.
So if you find yourself sitting in a rehearsal sometime in the next few weeks and you're getting bored because your part's too easy, instead of just stopping and checking out or not really being engaged, maybe try a different stick, try a different mallet, try articulating it somewhat differently to create a new sound. This is the only chance you get to play this part with this group. You've got to take advantage of that time.
Hi, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Sherry, and something we're going to go over today is what percussionists do every day, and that's creating new instruments. A lot of pieces and composers will call for unique sounds, things you can't find from just a marimba or a snare drum. So part of what we do is just being innovative and creative as we can to create these sounds.
So we're going to be showing you some unusual instruments that we're using for our first concert series in the semester. Alright, so here we have what's called a marching machine. As you can see, it's made out of a bunch of pieces of wood strung together. So sometimes composers will actually call for sounds of troops marching off to battle.
Okay, so what we have here are the boo bands. Normally they're made out of bamboo, but because we're innovative people, we actually made it out of PVC pipe this time. So they are actually pitched instruments, so they do have a unique sound to each one.
So I've got a Kratali here, and in our piece Stained Glass, the composer calls for a Kratali submerged in water. So we hit it with a metal piece and then dip it in water, and that bends the pitch.
So something we have here are the crystal glasses, something you may have seen at your house before. In this case, what we're doing is we're actually trying to get sound out of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to wet the top of each glass and just use our finger right across it to get a sound. So something we have that's really big in our piece Kuka Ilamoku is the woodblock. You can either play them with one in your hand, or you can actually play a different arrangement of them.
And we also like instruments that make really loud noises in our songs. So here we have some brake drums from Cars, and they're actually pitched differently. And here's a plank of wood. So now that you've learned about all these unusual instruments, you can look forward to seeing them at our annual Halloween concert, which is on October 23rd.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page, South Coast Percussion Ensemble, for all the details.